Assalamu alaikum, my dear brothers and sisters. Welcome back to Youth Challenges. Now, if you've just joined us, we're having a very interesting discussion on knife crime and gang violence, especially because it's a very prominent issue within our Muslim society and within our youngsters. So, Maulana Sahib, just before the break, we were discussing about masajids and how the khutbahs, and there was a big, barrier between the youngsters and the mosques. And one thing personally that I would advise our masajids is giving our young Maulvis, giving our young imams a chance, actually. While I was studying in college and university, there was a number of youngsters who were studying with me. There was, very good. They were balancing their hifz as well as their education. And I was always found it very impressive how you can balance the two. But unfortunately, even after they've kind of graduated from Islamic schools and they've got the knowledge and the experience to be imams and lead khutbahs, unfortunately, our masajids are not giving them this opportunity. And personally, I know a lot of young imams who would love to have this opportunity. And I personally think they would do a very good job, especially connecting with the youth and discussing topics which need to be discussed, such as knife crime and for example, premarital relationships, drugs, alcohol, things that unfortunately the youth are being indulged in. What is your opinion on this, Maulana Sahib?
Yeah, absolutely right. There should be a mix and match, because you also need some experienced, the ulama.
Yes.
And also, you induct those people, those youngsters, as a teacher in your masjid. They teach the children Quran, they teach the children Seerah, they teach the different courses to children. In this way, you go for the root level to address with the people. Unfortunately, if you look at the masajid, the very few masajid, they are running organized madrasas.
Yes.
People, those who are looking for an Islamic education, they go for the Islamic schools, private Islamic schools for the Islamic education. Or very rarely, any masjid who is running any maktab or madrasa where you do hifz or where you do nazira. Mostly masajid, they are offering to reading of Quran. One teacher is involved there. We have a capacity, we have a place. We can do that. Like parallelly, the Islamic schools are working. We also induct a few youngsters, few knowledgeable young men. They can give their services as a teacher there. And one is the Islamic history teacher, one is for the the Quran Tajweed teacher, one is for the Arabic teacher. These are the staff I can induct in in our mosque. There are the many things. If where there is a will, there is a way.
Yes.
If I sit and I think that, if I have a pain in my heart, where is my youth is going? So how can I take my youth in? So then I sit, and trustees sit together, and they can, talk about how can we involve our children. Yes. So there are the many ways. Not only the khutbah is not the last resort. Yeah, I agree that we also give the chances to the young people to come and give khutbah, Friday sermons there. But that those who are the very established scholars are very. So they are doing their the job, they are doing their jobs. But also, those who are doing the khutbahs, because on few masajid, the ulama, they give the khutbah or certain topics repeatedly. And this is also not, they involve the youth as well. Like, that this program, we are doing it. And in this way, this sort of khutbahs we can do. And if you cannot do khutbahs, so you can perform an evening talk.
Yes.
So there are the many talks we can arrange in our masajid. Yes. So at least what happened, those musallis, those who are coming there, they can bring their children. And if we can arrange these sort of talks on weekends, like Saturday or Sunday, so they can bring their children and they can involve in it. And then you can talk to the directly, children have face to face and give their feedback to the. So there are the many ways we can involve, but unfortunately very few masajid, they are working on these lines.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, that is the case. And Maulana Sahib, one thing, so we just have a caller on the line, Maulana Sahib. So, Assalamu alaikum.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum. Hi there.
Hello.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Who's speaking?
My name is Ahmed. I'm from London.
Yes, Ahmed, how are you doing, brother?
I'm good, thank you. I just have a quick question.
Yes.
Bro, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Basically, I like the show, first and foremost.
Thank you, Ahmed.
And secondly, I was going to say, a lot of us have, gone in the wrong path, and we're trying to reform and become better Muslims.
Yes.
And, for some of us, we've gone too far in, so it's hard for us, to come out. So what advice would you give us?
Yeah, Ahmed, definitely this is a very good question, actually. Moran Sahab, we have a brother on the phone, Ahmed. Ahmed is asking that, unfortunately, a lot of brothers are involved in a dangerous path, in gang violence and knife crime. So what advice, would you give our youth, our brothers who are involved in knife crime and gang violence? What can they do to take themselves out of these kind of situations?
You know what happened? First of all, you try to change your company.
Yeah.
Because this company forces you to go to that path. Sometimes I know that personally, many youngsters, they are a very good heart. But they say that, no, I'm become of the part of this gang, what am I going to do now?
Yes.
So in this situation, I think I advise that you change the company. And if you feel that might be my gang gives some sort of harm to me, then you talk to your parents. So your parents can take some step to, if they would like to involve in police and authorities, they can involve. But feel free, talk to your parents. Don't hesitate. No, if I because you know what happened, Faizan. Some youngsters, when I speak with them, they ask that, oh, I feel a bit shy. What I say to, or I'm having so much nervous, and so my fear of my father.
Yes.
So my father is very strict. So I give the message to youngsters. If you would like to feel some hesitation, if you feel some shyness, so then you find any local imam, because they are very good-hearted people and they would like to help you. And also they keep this meeting secret as well, they do, these people. So you can share with them. So they can, inshallah, take you out from this situation.
Inshallah, definitely. No one will ever benefit from being quiet about these things. And just to, as Ahmed said, that he unfortunately is involved in this kind of business now. But what Ahmed should also do, as well as what other people should do, is keep an eye out for, younger brothers, younger cousins, people who are in your family who you see that are going through the stages to adopt this life. And definitely there is a responsibility on people who have been through it and people who can see what is going on to actually act and prevent youngsters from getting involved in these kind of situations.
Yeah, you are very right, Faizan. As far as the parents are concerned, their role is very vital, but your siblings' role also very, very important.
Yes.
Because in real time you are working in this situation.
Yes.
Now you are in grade 11, and you know that you're young, the boy is now he's in grade 9. Now what sort of the problems now he has it? You can give the real report to your parents, and you know the situation very well. So it is also the other siblings' responsibility to act preemptively and tell parents, or if they have this sort of, to also advise. I have a daughter and son, and their age gap is 1 year. So my daughter always, give advices to my son. Don't go for this, the road. This is a dangerous road. So this one, and don't stop on that. So you have an experience. You guide your youngsters.
Yeah, definitely. And Maulana Sahab, as we discussed, unfortunately, sometimes parents and children, they don't have that relationship, that freedom where a child can freely come up to his father and say, Dad, this is what's happened, because they just don't feel, they're not brave enough, they're not confident enough to do that. Now, in situations like that, an elder sibling comes in very handy, because most of the time siblings do have that relationship with each other where they can come and openly discuss matters which concern them, like especially to do with knife crime and gang violence. Another thing which I want to express towards our youth today is, it isn't, even though we are stuck in such an environment where it almost seems like you have to be involved in knife crime and carry knives, and most of the time, a lot of the time actually, you don't need to carry a knife unless you have, initiate yourself into this kind of lifestyle to begin with. For example, you know, if you're walking on the street or anything like that, you don't have anything to fear about unless you've caused yourself to have this fear of something, unless you have gone and created a problem. Now, even though I do understand that sometimes, you know, someone can be completely innocent and someone can, you know, come up to him, but most of the time, majority of the time, the only reason that young individuals are carrying knives is because they have started a conflict with someone else, and now they fear that they do need to carry a knife. So the best thing to do is always to not get involved in any kind of violence.
Yeah, and also it is very wrong assumption. Knife gives me a safety.
Yes.
Knife is not a shield.
Yeah.
What is the purpose of a knife?
Yeah.
To injure the other person.
Yes.
It is not a shield if you take it out, and so that gives you a shield.
Yes.
Many, you know, the youngsters, they think that a knife can work as a shield.
No,
it is a very wrong assumption, and they take it for that reason as well.
Yeah.
And they keep in your mind to isolate for this company. As you said, this is the best point. It is not that you live in that company and they say, okay, I can take a knife, then nobody can, you know, harm me. No.
Yeah, that's definitely is not how it works. And you're very right, Maulana Saab. And you know, another big problem is that when these young boys, they're carrying these knives, you know, honestly, Maulana Saab, personally, I've seen some, they're about this big. You know, they're about arm lengths. And when you're carrying those, that is no longer for safety. You are now the person that people need safety from. Yeah, really and truly. So what it is and even if they carry those knives for safety, just to scare the other person. Now what happens is when you are involved in a conflict, when you've got into a situation where you're in a fight, you're holding this thing, right? And in the moment, the adrenaline is high. You're not thinking about much, and next thing you know, you've hit this person and that's it. You know, knife this big, most likely it's going to kill someone. And you never had the intention of killing anyone. So isn't it better not to actually just carry this in the first place?
Because, you know, in Islam, we take it very serious. These sort of things, you are using it very carefully. Even the Prophet ﷺ said that if you hold any spears or if you hold any arrow, so you take the, you know, the edge, the downside. Maybe accidentally you can harm the other person.
Yes.
It is not a joke
Yes.
to have this sort of anything in your pocket. And you think that, okay, nothing happened. And if you look at the survey, so mostly cases are, you know, the people do not expect about those consequences. They think that no, but that happened.
Yes. You know, actually personally, Maulana Sahib, you know, I come from a very legal background and you know, I've had experience with suspected criminals, and unfortunately, even no matter how bizarre it seems, a lot of the time when you ask someone, why did you do it? They say, I didn't mean to. You know, or I didn't. One person actually said to me once, he stabbed someone in his head, and he actually had the audacity to say to me that I didn't expect to kill him. You know, he stabbed him right through his head, and he's saying that I didn't mean to kill him. I mean,
so that's a very bizarre thing, a very strange thing.
Exactly, because
so
in the moment he didn't actually realize what he was doing. It was the adrenaline. But nevertheless, he has done it now, and at the end of the day, that's it. His life. The rest of his life is going to be behind prison bars. Because,
you know, in the fit of anger, so you can do anything. And whatsoever you have in your hand, you don't know that what should be that thing can cause, but you utilize that thing. So that is why we advise any, you know, child, there is no need of having in this sort of, and it is also a crime.
It is,
many people, many youngsters, they even don't know it is a crime to carry a knife.
Yeah, they don't know.
So,
in fact, 3,200 youngsters actually in London, in South and East London alone, they were arrested for carrying a knife. Now, what I don't think a lot of youngsters realize is just for carrying this knife, because you cannot possibly have an explanation for carrying a knife. You know, at the end of the day, if a police officer stops you and they see you have a knife, that's it. You're going to get convicted for it. And the actual sentence, the maximum sentence is 4 years. Just for carrying it, 4 years of your life. Now, Maulana Sahib, imagine this, right? You know, a young boy, he has a group of friends. Let's say, for example, there's 3 or 4 of them, yeah? Now, one day this boy, let's say he's driving his car and 2 of his brake lights are out. The police stop him just to, you know, tell him your brake light's not working or whatever. But in this search, they see that he has a knife. And then he gets convicted for it. He goes to prison for 4 years. When he comes back out after 4 years, you know, the people he was walking around with and enjoying, you know, roaming around the streets with, they are no longer in the same position as he was in life.
Yes.
Yeah, and at that point is when unfortunately a lot of youngsters realize that, you know what, I've made a mistake and I'm a lot behind now.
Definitely you go for depression because you are lag behind or all your colleagues now, and now you are expelled from your school. So your career is ruined, your marital life, there are other things, lots of, not only you suffer, even your family. You know, they identify, oh, this is the family, that the one of the criminal person is like that.
Definitely,
so the marriages of your sister, your brother, they're all, you know, that. So only the little mistake, and sometimes unintentional, because you have no intention to harm any person. So why you know, put yourself in danger?
Yeah, exactly. And you know, another thing, Marasa, which a lot of youngsters don't realize, I mean, you know, when you're 17, 18, 19, you have this thing, this heat inside you where you want to be the person that people are scared of. You want to be the person that when trouble happens, they call you. But this is not the image you want to create. This is not something to be proud of. And in fact, it just endangers yourself and it endangers your future. I mean, what a lot of youngsters have to ask themselves is, when you're 30 or 35, do you want to be someone that's carrying a knife? I mean, even the sound of it, it sounds pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, it is natural, Faizan. It is natural. Every person would like to be a prominent. So you like to be a prominent in your family, in your society. But it is a negative way to prominent yourself.
Yes, it is.
So you can get a good grades. You be a prominent.
Yeah.
So you do volunteer work. You be a prominent.
Exactly.
So there are 100 other positive ways you do prominent yourself. But you know what happened? Not proper grooming.
Yes.
There is a gap between you and your parents, and not having a good, you know, the company. That is why you are suffering from this.
That's very true. Marasa, I think we actually have a caller. Yeah, we have a caller. We have a caller on the line. Assalamu alaikum.
Rahmatullah, brother. How are you?
Wa alaikum salam. Alhamdulillah. How are you, brother?
Yeah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. MashaAllah, very good point you're talking about with regards to knives and all of that with regards to youngsters.
Thank you, brother.
And you've covered quite good points here. Alhamdulillah. There's one thing that I would like to add to that is that, you know, youngsters who think that they need to carry a knife to either protect themselves or to harm someone else, you know, needs to rethink whether they need to be in that area or in that site for them to, you know, to be in harm's way.
Yes.
Do you understand? So that why would they need to carry a knife to protect themselves? Maybe they shouldn't be there in the first place.
Yes.
And that's something our youngsters in today's time need to be, you know, stay away from danger. That's something, inshallah, Maulana Sahib could talk about as well, inshallah.
Definitely, brother. We agree with you 100%, actually.
Inshallah, yeah.
Jazakallah.
Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, so Maulana Sahib, the brother just said that very good point, actually. He said, you know, when you know, youngsters are going around carrying knives for safety, there are a lot of other measures which they can actually take to provide them with this alleged safety. You know, for example, as the brother said, not being in a certain area.
Yeah, actually, you know, what is the problem? Problem is to provide them proper education.
Yes.
What is the safety? So you know that safety meant for that to carry knife. To whom they learn it? From their friends.
Exactly.
So if we have a forum like that now, we are discussing here, now they understand, oh, it is not a measure of safety.
Yes.
So there are 100 other ways to have a measure for safety.
Yes.
So, and also, you know, if our masajid, they do the sermons regarding these sort of issues and educate our youngsters. So how can you save yourself in that environment? So I think that will be a big step to reduce this sort of, you know, the incidents.
Definitely, Maulana Sahib. And you know, one other thing, you know, for example, in my area, there is a lot of crime being committed late at night. Yeah, even between, let's say, 12 a.m. to about 4 a.m. is when there's a lot of crime being committed. So as the brother said, that individuals can avoid going into certain areas, they can also avoid being out at certain hours. I mean, especially given the pandemic, what is there to do outside of your house? Everything is closed, right? And you being outside of your house at late times, all it does is it puts you in harm's way. It opens you to a lot of problems that can occur. And you know, a lot of the time, for example, I know someone who was actually, his car was stolen from him recently, by a group of guys. They had knives, they scared him, beat him up, took his vehicle, right? And in that situation, you know, you feel like the victim, and you feel that, oh, I didn't have anything in the car, for example. I didn't have a baseball bat or a knife to protect myself. But this actually happened at 4 a.m. in the morning, Maulana Sahib. So once again, you need to reevaluate what is the need to be out on the roads at such, you know, dangerous hours.
Yeah, you're right, Faizan. Right time and right location, both are very important. You know, what time you are, you know, having a company with the people, and you are very right. This in pandemic, lockdown is going on, and you are roaming in the street in the middle of the night. Then what you expect in the middle of the night? Who will meet you?
Exactly.
Very gentlemen people. So those are roaming at that time.
Yeah.
You're true.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is a very important point to think about. So, you know, before using the excuse that you need a knife for safety, you do have to think about all the other options which are available for safety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your first thing, what I, you know, heard from your mouth first time, the 4-year imprisonment. It's if we consider this one, it is a very, very, you know, you put yourself and your whole career at risk by carrying a knife.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Maulana Sahab, unfortunately, we are coming towards the end of our program. Alhamdulillah, I've had a very, very exciting conversation with yourself, and I'm sure the viewers have enjoyed our conversation today. Inshallah, stay tuned. Every Sunday at 4 p.m. we will be live presenting to you youth challenges, and we'll be discussing a different and a very, very, you know, concerning topic, especially for the youth, every Sunday, inshallah. And I just want to take your leave with, we are one ummah, one body, one brotherhood. Please take care of yourselves. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.